I said, get back in line. I'm not allowed to show my face. If I show my face, then I die. That is the only rule. And also, it is really hot in here. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Dance Studios. This is actually going to be our time to talk about Squid Games. So I'm actually super excited for this video because everybody's talking about Squid Games, and I was thinking like, should I do a video on Squid Games? Because like part of me is like, I love the show. Like I've watched the first season and I'm like, this show is really good and it's really worth the hype. But then also like, I can see why this show is getting into a little bit of trouble. Like it's a very violent show. It's something that is not, it's not a family show at all. Even though like they use a lot of bright colors and it looks like a very playful, friendly show, it's not. It's very dark, and it's one of those things that like, it reminds me of Game of Thrones a little bit in terms of like, even though it's a show that is like big and it's a big name, it's definitely for a niche audience. And this is one of those shows that like, everyone that watches it tells me like, yo, like, I'm so glad you put me on. So let's get right into this video. The first thing about Squid Games is I have to say like, the first episode, wow. Every show needs to take notes. Like make your first episode like the first episode of Squid Games. Like literally like, you go into this episode just trying to figure out like, okay, like what's the angle? You start out with this character and basically he doesn't have, he kind of doesn't really have common sense. Like he makes a lot of mistakes. He's very much like, he's kind of like whimsical, you know, that's the best way I can describe him. He has this weird like angle to him that even towards the end of the show, it's like the biggest character transformation on how he acts. Like he's way more calculated towards the end of the show, but in the beginning he kind of is like a loser, you know what I mean? He's trying to figure out his life. You know, he has a mom that needs help, and she's kind of saying that you're a loser and that you'll never come out to anything. And he lost his daughter to someone that he's trying to get his daughter back. So this character, he's a defeated character, and basically, so he's in debt, right? Like he owes money, and so basically the whole show, he's basically going into this game show to make some money so he can pay off his debt. And obviously as he pays off his debt, that's gonna like open the door for him to get his daughter back. So throughout the show, like he's he meets this guy, and the guy is like a well-dressed guy in a suit, and he like tells him, let's play a game. These guys are playing games, and then basically like he ends up winning the game. And then like I said, like the show, the characters, a lot of it is like taking advantage of each other, right? Like one character is like, oh, like, I'm gonna let you win so you can think you're gonna beat me all the time, and then they're gonna have a trick where they just like trick you into like giving all your money away. So basically, long story short, he sells his, like the guy owns him now, like literally like he owes him money. Obviously the guy that is in debt doesn't have it, so he says, hi, how about this, I'll give you my card, and basically if you want to join the show to get the money, then give me a call. Obviously he gives him a call. And the reason why the show really kicked off for me personally, and I think for most people, is you go into this game show and you're like, wait, these guys are playing kid games? Like they're really playing kid, you know what I mean? And it's kind of hard to talk about the show without spoiling something. So if you haven't seen the show, like there's gonna be details where like you'll be like, oh Daniel, I wish you didn't tell me that. But like, it's impossible to talk about the show without talking about these major things or why people like it so much. Because you think that you're as a spectator, you're in it from the perspective of the person in the show. So like when you're playing the show and you're like, wait, this is kid games and I'll win all this money for this kid games. But then you realize what happens and how serious it is. Like literally, you lose your life if you lose the game, and it's not like you die afterward, right? You die on the spot, and that's what made the show really a high tense, high drama show. And obviously, I can see why people don't like this. Like no one wants like to see massacres. Like literally, like the first episode, there's like a massacre of people, and even to this day, like if I watch that episode, I'm like, damn, like, I can't really watch it. But that's part of like what gets you into the show, because you realize, damn, like I have to see like what happens to each of these games, right? And they kind of explain the Squid Game thing, but maybe it's because I haven't really heard of this ever before, and I really don't understand the concept of it. But other than that, like the show is brilliant. So like instead of like explaining like the whole show to you because there's a lot of complex ideas and storylines. I'm just gonna tell you about like my review and my experience. So like basically, this show is a 10 out of 10. Like there's nothing bad about the show, in my opinion. Like the ending was good, the beginning was good, the middle was good. It keeps you engaged, it keeps you entertaining. The only thing is, I feel like there's a storyline with a character who is a detective or is a police officer who goes undercover into becoming one of those guys with the pink suits. I don't know the names, but basically he goes undercover, and that's very interesting because you get to see, like, is he gonna get caught, is he not? And then basically you see somebody sneaking about to uncover what this game's really about and just find out more questions. And that's an interesting part of the story. Also, like, you get to see from like the high society on like how the games were started, why it was started, and other things. The craziest part to me, and this is spoiler warning, the craziest part to me, there's a scene where these guys manipulate the players by turning the players against each other, and that was insane. Because the games, they have rules to them, but then the games actually broke one of their own rules just so that they can eliminate people. And I'm just like, and up until that point, like, the games were fair, like it was all about fairness. Then they did something that was not fair, and then after that they was like, oh, we're still about fairness, which made no sense to me. But that scene right there, oh my god, like I got PTSD just from watching that scene. Like, it is insane. It's a scene where, like, basically, and you have to watch it back because at night, basically, some of the players have weapons and they cut off all the lights, and like no guards are literally standing outside the gate and hearing people die. And it was just like a crazy scene to watch. Also, there's this old man in the show, so we can talk about some of the characters. Like, I think they did a real good job in portraying like the characters, especially like their character, like the way they are, like their personality. And like there's this girl, which basically in the beginning of the show, this girl's like super, like, you know what I mean, basically like everyone's against her. Now don't get me wrong, she's not innocent by any means, but like she's very much like not a character that you should like, and she's very much to herself. Like, you could tell she's dealing with a lot. She looks broken down, and towards the end of the season, I mean, the way they literally tore down this character. Like, she looked horrible. I'm not gonna lie, she's an attractive girl, but like by the end of the show, you're like, dang, she looks so different. You know what I mean? And what happened to her made you really feel for her, and I'm gonna miss to see her character in the season 2. You have the girl character, you have the best friend character, which he's like a guy who, he starts out like, you think he's like a genuine guy, he really cares, he's smart, intelligent, and his friend is like going to bat for him, right? Like, yo, this guy, he's smart, he's intelligent, let's let him come up with the plans. I'm gonna let him control my life. And then you realize that he just betrays people, he lies to people. Like, it's crazy. He only cares about himself, he only cares about money. And like, it's crazy how much of a character transformation this show really brings people through. And it's only through like, what, 9 episodes? Like, it was intense. And then you have the old man character, which the old man character, to me, watching this, I'm like, this old man keeps getting in the way every single time. Like, you know, they're trying to win and compete. The old man, like, the nice guy, the main character is like letting the old man, like, you know what I mean, like drag him behind and stuff. And then the twist at the end is crazy because there is a twist with the old man, but like, it's crazy because you're watching this old guy like, damn man, you about to make everybody die. Interesting because like, you're seeing this old guy, and basically like, it's crazy because like, you like, part of you want to feel as a human being, right, as a decent human being, you want to help the old man out, but at the same time, like, he could cost you your life. So like, it really puts people in a moral dilemma. Like, this whole show is a lot about moral dilemmas. Like, you want to help this old guy, but if you help him, you can risk your life. And then the main character, he does that so many times, and that's really the reason why I think that he actually makes it throughout like most of the games, right? Because like, he is really like showing that he's caring about people. He's doing the opposite of what people do, and not only that, people are helping him also. So it's really good. Like, the show, it makes you form alliances. And the games, most of the people are familiar with the type of games that they're playing, so it's not like they're being blindsided, right? They're playing games, and to be honest though, the last game, I don't think not the very last game, but there's a game where like, you have to walk across a bridge and basically like, you fall to your death. That was one of the like best games But like, to be honest, it wasn't that fair. Like, because the thing is that if you go, you have to pick a number, and it's all by chance. It's all about luck. So it's really about, it has no skill to do with it. It's really just about luck, right? So like, you go first, and most likely the chances of you dying is like 98%. But if you're at the back, the chance of you surviving is actually pretty high. But the problem with that is that with the games, there's a timer. So for example, if you don't get across the bridge within a certain time, then you die. So let's say I'm the first person up, and I decide to step on a go across the ladder, step on the first ladder. I can just stay there and just waste time, and it's gonna make everyone behind me suffer for that time. So it's a part. There's actually a scene where someone gets pushed because like they're like, "Wait, you're gonna make all of us die?" No, like you're dying. So like, it really does challenge you. And now they have like games about this show and all this stuff. Like, I'm happy that this show is successful, honestly, because it was really a good show that was entertaining. I'm mad there's only one season. I thought there was going to be like 3 seasons and I could like binge them all, but nope, it's only one season. The ending was good. I recommend the show to mature audiences only. No kids watch it, trust me. Like, this is not something you need. But yeah, it was an amazing show. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. There's nothing that I could see like a problem with the show. Like, it really just made me want more, and that's what you want, right? You want to be entertained, but also you want to have your anticipation of what they're gonna do next really high, and they achieved that. So yeah, no guys, Squid Games, check it out. Let me know in the comments if you have seen it and what you think about it. If you have any theories, I know there's a bunch of theories out right now, but no, I definitely want to start a competition. I want you guys to stay safe, have a good day, and try not to play any Squid Games, okay? Just play like regular games on your video, you know what I mean, on your console. Have a good day, stay safe.